Hello everyone, it's time once again for the Captain's Log. I'm Captain Logan.
I'm Eric.
Eric, let's see how much news we can knock out in the next half hour. Shall we? We begin, starting once again from the end of the list, moving up. We're just going to knock out as many recent things as we can. We will talk about, the only thing people really want us to talk about here in a little bit, James Gunn coming back to Guardians 3. But first, let's talk about Ezra Miller and how unhappy he is with the current Flash script and how he is apparently working behind closed doors with Grant Morrison, of all people, to make a darker script and hoping that DC and Warner's will pick it up and that's what they will make. This is the weirdest story. Like,
I wonder how he felt about the previous 15 drafts of this movie.
Yeah, me too.
Also, Grant Morrison is the last person I would go to for what he's requesting. Not that Grant Morrison doesn't write dark, but he knows what superheroes are, and he knows who the Flash is, and I feel like that's against his normal instinct. I would think, maybe not a light film, but I feel like if you gave him free range to write a Flash movie, it would be a superhero movie.
Everything about this is weird to me. I think it is sad that this is the kind of thing that it apparently takes to get comic book writers close to a movie.
Mm-hmm.
We keep talking about how the studio doesn't immediately very often go to comic book writers in the first place. Morrison should pen a superhero movie.
Yeah.
And especially a DC movie. But it's taking, and I don't think this will go anywhere, but just because Ezra Miller doesn't have any clout, right?
And apparently he might leave if they don't do this darker script. And I'm like, please leave. Please do it.
I didn't care for him in Justice League. I just don't like the cut of his jib with that character. And so, that's not a movie I want anyway. To be honest with you, given the reception of Justice League and the fact that we're getting away from DCEU, it's surprising that they haven't fired him already.
Mm-hmm.
Because, I get that we've spun Aquaman out of that now, and that was a major success, but that movie gets made when they think they're still going in that direction, and I would think Ezra Miller would be on thin ice. And I don't know what's going on behind closed doors, obviously, but I would assume that he's got no leverage, that he's got no clout, and I would think that if he's well, if you don't make the thing I want, it's just weird that a guy that young who hasn't done a lot of movies is trying to get the studio to make his script. That seems kind of, I don't know, it seems like a weird rookie mistake to me.
Also seems completely in character for everything I've ever seen him. As a person, interviewed and stuff.
I would just think that the story here would be, okay, here's, the background is he wanted to do this thing with Grant Morrison. The story is Warner said, who cares, and they fired him. That's what I would think is going on.
I want to say I heard something about Morrison advising on Justice League or something. Do you remember hearing something about that?
I don't know.
I feel like I remember some of the actors talking to Grant Morrison, but maybe it was only Ezra Miller.
Maybe so. I don't know.
But
interesting if they have a relationship.
Yeah. But, yeah, I don't... I hope Grant Morrison says no or they don't pick up his script.
As much as it would be nice for him to write something.
Yeah. I'd rather get him on a Superman movie.
I mean, Morrison could be great for Flash.
But I don't want it with Ezra Miller.
I don't either.
I would much rather he just doesn't write it and then Ezra Miller gets fired.
That's a weird story.
Or quits. Yeah.
I'm just really surprised that Morrison's even entertaining that. And I don't know. Everything about that's weird to me. We mentioned this on an earlier segment tonight. John Carpenter's Halloween series is now not happening on Syfy, and it sounds like the people who have the rights to that, who have decided to pull it, had really good reasons of integrity for doing that.
Yeah, it's Storm King Productions, which is him and his wife Sandy King. What's interesting is, I think I mentioned this in the Halloween Omnibus, or the October Omnibus, that they announced a year prior that it would be out the following Halloween. And then it didn't happen, and we hadn't heard any news about it. So for anyone that doesn't know, Tales from Halloween Night is a graphic novel that Storm King puts out once a year. That is an anthology horror stories, I believe, set around Halloween. I keep meaning to buy them, and I just don't. And it gets past Halloween, and I'm like, well, I'll get them next year around. Next time around, I'll get that, because they're specifically supposed to be Halloween horror things. They're called Tales for Halloween Night, and they were going to make this horror anthology show, and it seems like they just wanted the brand name of, like, John Carpenter's Tales for Halloween Night, and weren't actually interested in making the show that they wanted to make, and they had artistic integrity and was like, okay, then we won't make the show with you.
Yeah.
We'll see if somebody else wants to make it, maybe, but we're not going to make this if it's not going to be what we want it to be.
I feel like it is one step forward and two steps back with Syfy, man. Every time I hear things about them, it's like, okay, well, at least you're actually making, like, scripted shows and science fiction stuff again, but they keep not having faith in certain things that they put on, and, like, they feel like they're a decade behind in a lot of ways.
I feel like they had, like, a 2-year period where they got their act together, and then just immediately kind of started sliding back.
It is unfortunate.
Because remember, they canceled The Expanse and Amazon buys stuff.
Yep. Now, that was an expensive show to make, and it might have just not had the numbers. I mean, it might not be fair to dog them for that.
Does Krypton have the numbers? Because that show looked expensive.
It does not look cheap. And nobody saw it.
I've never heard anyone but you mention it exists.
I bought the first season. Did I tell you that?
No.
I bought Krypton. I bought the first season.
Why? Well, I guess you have to.
I mean, you know, I have my
it's
collection.
It's get cheaper.
But it started at $20, and I don't know that it gets a lot cheaper than $20.
That's fair.
So I went ahead and bought it. You want to know the main reason I bought this?
Special features?
To remind myself it exists! I keep forgetting about this.
Yep.
I bought it because if I don't see it on a shelf, I'll never watch it.
We got that in at work, and
I'm not even kidding.
I picked it up, and I was like, "Do you remember this happened?" They're like, "Oh yeah." I was like, "It's getting a second season." I'm like, no, it's not.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know when it airs. Maybe it already has. I don't know.
No one knows.
Isn't that nuts? Okay, let's go ahead and talk about James Gunn. This is a thing that obviously surprised everybody, and that I could not believe ended up happening.
Except I feel like I keep seeing and hearing people being like, "Well, I knew." I'm like, "No, you didn't. Shut up."
I haven't heard anybody say that.
Okay, I've
really?
Yeah. Someone was like, "Well, I was just expecting it," and I was like, "You shouldn't have been."
Why? Because like if Disney didn't months ago, like shortly after it happened, change their tune on it, there was no reason to expect that they ever would. Mm-hmm. And allegedly, and I don't know what to believe after that's been announced about behind the scenes stuff, but allegedly this is actually a thing that has been that they've known for a long time, and that's been in the can, and for whatever reason they just haven't told us about it. Which, if that's true, that makes me think that when they announced that they were using his script, they also knew that they were using him, that he was going to direct it. So it's really interesting that if that's the case, and I don't know, but it's really interesting if they came out and gave us the news, we're using a script, but they waited a while before they told us that they were using him.
My assumption is that, and apparently they have confirmed he's going to do Suicide Squad first.
Yes.
My assumption is that...
That's what I figured. I figured this would get put off for a little while.
When they say this was decided months ago in secret,
yes,
that's not secret from us. I believe that is secret from Disney, and that they just kept working at them until Disney said yes. But like behind closed doors, Kevin Feige was like, "You're making this movie. Like you are going to make it. Whatever I have to do, like you're going to make it."
And I've heard some people say, and I don't understand this, that like the timing of Disney buying Fox is suspect. I don't know what that would have to do with this.
I don't know, unless Galactus is in it. But even then, why would that make him? Yeah,
why would we not announce that he's directing? I just think that's really strange.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is a really rare instance of, at least at the face of it, a giant company not acting like a giant company.
Yeah, because it sounds like, well, because originally I was like, why would he even go back? And then I was like, but everyone at Marvel backed him. It wasn't Marvel that fired him, it was Disney.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it was like the second in charge guy.
No, that's right.
Like it was a high up. It wasn't. He was a high up guy.
But even the guy at the very top didn't agree with it.
Yeah.
But didn't stop it either. And yeah, I mean, like, I can see why he'd go back if it was just like that intercompany bureaucracy thing where it was one guy and nobody wanted to stand up to him.
Yeah. Well, and especially because we know Marvel tried. And we know that like there was like a last ditch effort that Kevin Feige made, where like it was like a closed room meeting or whatever.
And look, I know that there are folks that when we did the GNN about it, where we were appalled and we didn't like that he got dropped. That there were folks that said that he should have been and that he should be drummed out of Hollywood because of all the things he said 10 years ago. And like whether you're with us and you think that like like you should give people the benefit of the doubt, especially when it's stuff that they said like a very long time ago, and it was jokes, and there's not any reason to suspect that anything uncouth was actually physically going on and that kind of thing. Whether you agree with that or not, I don't think it was ever about that.
You don't think so?
I think it was this guy looking for an excuse to fire James Gunn. It was one guy, you know what I mean? Like, he just goes back through his tweets and he's like, I got him on something, you know what I mean? Like, that's the sense I get. Like, I don't think it was ever about that stuff.
Well, it's not the guy that fired him that did that. It was like people online.
Sure. I get that. The point I'm trying to make is that's probably not the reason he fired him. You see what I'm saying?
I think it is.
Really?
I think it was a publicity dodge.
Okay.
And then he just didn't want to back down. It felt like it wasn't like he took issue with James Gunn. It was people on the air that took issue with James Gunn and then started bombarding like, look at all this stuff he said.
There's no way to know. I'm just saying, I wonder if behind the scenes that guy, for whatever reason, had other beefs with James Gunn and was looking for an excuse to fire him.
Maybe?
I don't know.
Okay.
But it's weird that it was only one person that had that problem with him.
Well, he was the one that made the call.
Yeah.
And I think people just had to line up behind him because he's second in charge.
Sure.
I don't think that guy had an issue with James Gunn necessarily. He probably does now.
But I'm just saying like really there's one guy toward the top of the company that is worried about PR, but everybody else is willing to back James Gunn and isn't worried about it. I have a hard time not thinking there's something else behind that.
I think he made a real rash call as a face saving measure, and then didn't want to back down.
Yeah, okay. Maybe so.
I don't think he personally had anything against James Gunn. I don't think. I don't know. I don't think there's any evidence to support that necessarily.
No,
especially knowing the people that tried to bring James Gunn down and they're the ones that brought this to their attention. If that guy's in collusion with them, that'd be weird.
Just at first glance, I thought it was kind of suspicious, but I don't know enough. So.
But it's nice because I was not going to see Guardians on principle. So.
Yeah. You don't have a reason to boycott it now.
Which isn't a huge thing for me because I don't love the Guardians movies, but. Yeah, it's nice to see things put right.
Yeah. And
I'm also not seeing a huge backlash that they got rehired.
No, I'm not seeing that either. But no, I think that's a good thing. And I'm glad that he gets to make his movie and that we don't have to. I mean, you weren't going to see it, but I'm glad that we don't have to sit through somebody else, trying to translate him. Yeah, because he just has such a distinct style. That would have been unfortunate. Mm-hmm. Okay, other stuff. You know what I'm excited about? I'm excited about Marvel doing a What If animated show.
Yeah.
I'm very excited about this.
Yeah.
This is such a cool idea. And at first glance, the first thing I was worried about was all their animation stuff has sucked lately. Mm-hmm. And then I thought, oh wait, but it's going to go to the Disney streaming service, so who knows? Mm-hmm. It's starting there. It's not necessarily going to be like the Man of Action guys or any of that. Who knows who's making it? And starting with the premise that they're starting with, I don't know how that can't be anything but super creative. If that show is boring, that's crazy. So what they're doing, have you heard about this?
Yeah.
What they're doing is, it's not going to be canonical with MCU, but they're going to take specifically situations from MCU and they're going to do the what if thing and say what if it happened differently and do an animated show. I hope it's in different visual styles.
Yeah.
I think it'd be really cool if there wasn't just a set look for that show.
I like the idea of a what if for the MCU. I'm hoping it's actually that and not how it should have ended or something like that.
Yeah.
I hope it's not too necessarily
it could
comedic.
be too comedic, couldn't it? I didn't even think of that.
I want it to be genuine, and I don't mind if there's comedic episodes like we used to do with What If, but
sure.
I would like a lot of them to be what if Tony Stark didn't get on that plane? Or not get on that plane, but what if Tony Stark didn't go to wherever he is in that first movie?
Yeah, sure.
What would the Marvel Universe look like if Tony Stark hadn't been captured? and stuff like that.
Yeah, or now you got me just thinking about Iron Man, but like, what if this is one they should do because of the backlash with Iron Man 3? Like, what if Tony Stark met the real Mandarin?
Yeah,
there's all kinds of crazy stuff they could do. I want to be very excited about that. If you're gonna just do, now you got me just wanting to think of other things they could do. If you're gonna do just a comedic, goofy show, it shouldn't be What If. It should be What The.
Yeah. So assuming it's not just like a comedic dumb thing, like I'm very much behind this idea. I think it's a great idea. And there's enough history now with the MCU that I think you can get a lot of mileage out of it.
And animated is the only way you could do it.
Yes.
It's the only way you could ever do it.
Yeah.
I never thought I would see this.
No.
What If is one of my favorite things. I'm so excited about that.
Yeah.
I hope my excitement is warranted. But anyway, yeah, I want to be excited about that. Okay. So apparently there's a Shang-Chi movie in development. I wouldn't have thought Shang-Chi would be the next thing Marvel would go to. I would have thought if that was going to happen, it would be a TV show. I'm a little surprised by it.
I'm not with Marvel pushing for more diversity.
Okay, sure, fair enough.
Like that was my main thing. I was like, oh, okay, so they have an Asian character now. Fine.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
But like after Iron Fist and stuff, it would be nice to get like an actual like kung fu kind of movie.
Yeah, which is my biggest problem with this. So I'm actually really excited about this. Like Kung Fu James Bond, like I'm there.
Yeah, sure.
I'm so excited for that movie theoretically. But they got a lot of brownie points for getting an Asian director. But he's just like every other director, where like he's done some like smaller indie films, like have won some awards. He's not an action guy. He's not a martial arts guy. I would think, especially with how big and important China's box office is right now.
Yeah.
You'd get some kung fu directors. You'd get like I mean, Stephen Chow's the one that immediately comes to my head. I don't know if he would do an American film, but like even John Woo would make more sense. Like he's done both.
Yeah.
Why? I'm immediately trepidatious where I'm like, okay, so it's going to be a kung fu movie, but it's not going to be a kung fu movie. Like it's going to be a quick cut action movie. I want a kung fu director.
Now, I would make the argument that Marvel, as I've said before, has had a pretty good track record of putting in people that feel like the wrong choice, and it turns out that even though they've never made anything like that, they were exactly the right person for it. Obviously, the Russos with Winter Soldier is the first thing. Now, we didn't love the direction Doctor Strange went, but I don't think the problem with that was necessarily who they picked for a director. That seems like that seems like it was a problem for the script level before it was like somebody that didn't have like a visual style or whatever.
Well, but Doctor Strange and Ant-Man both feel like paint by numbers. It feels like they could have been directed by anybody.
That's true.
And
you're worried that this could be that way because they
pick someone who doesn't do these kinds of things.
Fair enough.
I don't want Shang-Chi to be a paint-by-numbers movie. And if you're going to do Shang-Chi, I want you to do it right. I also want a lot of Asian actors in it, like famous like kung fu guys. Like I would love.
It'd be cool.
If I'm blank on names, it's really late. I had like a bunch of names I was thinking about the other day. I was like, I have to make sure to remember to bring up all these guys. But yeah, I want this to kind of be a celebration of like that kind of a thing, kind of like Kill Bill was, where like he brought in like people from like old kung fu movies, things like that. But like Jackie Chan should be in this, Jet Li should be in this, Donnie Yen should be in this. Like, even if they're just like bad guys or whatever, but like if you're gonna do that, let's do it all the way. And casting that director, like that's the only thing we know about this movie. I'm like, okay, well, we'll see how this turns out. Because if they just announced Shang-Chi movie, I'm super excited.
Yeah, and it's weird that they immediately announced it with the director attached.
And it seems like the director got picked for nepotism because he has worked with a bunch of people that are now currently at Marvel. And I'm like, oh, so you got him because he worked with Brie Larson and Sam Jackson and someone else. I was like,
Coogler.
Yes, and Coogler. And I'm like, okay, like, look, I love Black Panther, but I would have been more excited if they'd announced a Chinese director. Personally.
Also, usually at least the first movie in a franchise, it's just the name of the character. I hope Master Kung Fu was in the title.
Yeah, me too.
And you could even have that just be the title and not even have Shang-Chi in the title, because that's technically what that comic series was called.
No, it's Shang-Chi Master Kung Fu.
No, if you look it up, Shang-Chi's name is up there, but they look up as Master of Kung Fu. That is the title of that book.
Interesting. It's like when you look at like the volume things, like Volume 1, Master of Kung Fu.
I mean, I could be wrong, but that's the last time I
okay. I just know Shang-Chi's name is on the title.
Last time
Shang-Chi Master of Kung Fu.
Yeah, but last time I sold it, I'm pretty sure that was listed.
Okay. Interesting.
I've been wrong about things before.
Sure.
We won't talk about this too much because we'll be talking about this in a couple of weeks, but I'm very excited about the Batman Ninja Turtles crossover movie. It just looks fantastic.
It looks really good.
It comes out in a couple of weeks, and
it's weird we didn't even hear
we'll be talking about it on the next show. I think it's really cool they kept it under wraps the way they did. I think that will help it a lot because nobody saw it coming, and people that didn't know about the comics will be like, "What is this? Why is that happening?" Really cool to keep something like that under their hats.
Yep.
I'm surprised they did that.
I'm very excited.
It looks awesome.
Yep.
And they put out a good solid trailer.
Yep.
That's going to make people want to see it. I'm excited about the kind of 87 designs for some of the characters from the Turtles world. It looks like the 87 Shredder, but like he's obviously a little bit darker than he would have been in that show.
I feel like IDW Shredder.
Oh, no, not at all.
Okay.
He's got like the 87 cape, and he's got that color scheme, but it's a little bit darker.
Okay.
And the helmet is a lot like that show. And that makes sense because he's with a fly Baxter Stockman.
Mm.
It seems like they did that. They did that on purpose. He's standing next to, and they do the Baxter Stockman fly thing in that. Well, actually, he becomes a fly, if memory serves, in the second one. And these are clearly loosely based on those because they're doing like it's not just. We got the rights to be able to put those together with Nickelodeon in DC, so we're going to do the same thing the comics did, but not look at that at all. They are looking at that. Right away, it looks like it's likely to be a lot better than that. I hope so. I mean, those are fun.
It's not interdimensional.
You can improve on it, and it does not look like it's interdimensional, which is really exciting. Yep. I don't see how it can be with that line from Donatello where he's like, "I've heard about this bat creature in Gotham," or the urban legend. And I also like the idea that. They exist in each other's universes, and they both think each other were urban legends. I think that's a really cool idea. Mm-hmm. But anyway, I'm very excited about that.
That's how we do it in Power Rangers, but it doesn't make sense there.
Yeah. We got a few more minutes, Eric.
Can I talk about Gundam?
Yeah, go ahead. That was
Brian K. Vaughan was announced as the scripter for Gundam. I'm so excited. So Gundam is happening as a live-action movie because of Ready Player One. Because that worked there, they were like, okay, we'll make a movie. And we got like a small announcement, but I didn't know if it would come to anything. And I was worried that if they made it, it would be kind of generic. Because it's an American studio. But if Brian K. Vaughan's writing it, it's going to be great.
Yeah.
It's going to hit all the right things, and that's very exciting for me.
I wish we could get, and I don't know anything about Gundam, so like I wish we could get an announcement with Vaughn on something I care about. I'm like,
okay, he's got to do Silver Surfer.
I know.
That script's out there somewhere.
That's the point I'm making, and it hurts my feelings.
Oh, no, I'm so excited. He's so perfect for Gundam.
So that's great for you, sir.
It's wonderful for me.
But you see, Silver Surfer would have made us both happy, so...
It's true.
I talked about this a little bit on the Captain Logan show, but I guess I'll mention it again here. Arrow is finally ending with Season 8. I don't know if you knew about that.
Yeah, you sent me the link.
So, like, that's...
There's a final season called Mercy Kill.
It's a good thing, but if you were going to end it there, you might as well have ended it in 5, like you ought to have, and had a little bit of integrity with the way you set up that show, with that structure like a bookend. I've already talked about this on other shows.
Yeah, it's weird to go 3 more seasons and then end it.
I think so, too. I mean, it's a weird thing to say, because it's like, well, they're not going all the way to 10, so they should have ended it at 5. Like, 8 is long, and it's 3 more years, but, like, having seen the last couple of seasons of that show, like, there's some okay stuff in it. It got a little bit better, but it did not need to keep going. But I am glad that the CW shows that universe, they're going to allow it to continue, but cancel shows when they're done.
But why isn't Legends canceled?
I don't.
I'm glad you did.
I can't believe that's still going on. I'm sorry, I'm just looking at stuff that's a couple years old, or a couple of weeks old, and trying to decide what I want to tackle.
Tom Hardy was cast as Bane. We're interested to see how that turns out.
Yeah, he's a weird choice. I don't know about that. He just seems too small. I don't know.
Yeah. If only he could beef up. What do you think he'll do with his voice? He always does something with his voice. So I'm looking at, yeah, it's weird. It seems like he's always... I'm feeling like moving on from now, he's going to always have a thing on his face. So, again, I talked about... Everything else I'm looking at, I've kind of talked about on the Captain Logan show, so I'll let Eric weigh in on some stuff. But Rapid fire.
What do you think is going to happen with Dark Phoenix based on the last trailer we saw? What is that going to be like?
Well, it's going to make like $17.
I know. Nobody's going to see that movie.
It looks awful.
It looks awful.
It continues to look like a remake of X3. It continues to be an obnoxious sanctification of Jennifer Lawrence's Mystique, and by extension Jennifer Lawrence, who continues to not want to be there or wear makeup in the role. I don't know what's going on with that bad guy. He keeps saying cosmic in the presses, and the trailers keep not being cosmic. Also, there's a huge...
Yeah, I've heard that, and I don't know how true this is, I've heard that apparently it was more cosmic and they cut cosmic stuff out of it.
Oh.
I don't
know
know
that Jessica Chastain, who I believe is the actress, I think it's Jessica Chastain, I could be wrong, the woman that plays the evil person, who does not seem to be a comic book character, please don't be Mr. Sinister so Marvel can do that first. Because Marvel will do that first if you don't waste that immediately.
Yep.
Please don't be Mrs. Sinister. Apparently she's an alien. We definitely double down on the fact that this movie doesn't make sense with the movie before it, or seemingly itself. She has the Phoenix powers in her. At the end of Apocalypse, it's a big fiery bird, but she gets them from in space like in the comics. And we know that Professor X suppressed it.
Yeah, I don't know about any of that.
And there's beats where I'm like, that would be cool if a different series of movies had come beforehand. Like, if we had 2 good movies with James McAvoy leading these kids, and in the trailer, Scott asks him something, and he's like, what should we do, Professor? And he's like, I don't know! But I just watched him not know what to do last time. And before that, he was a recovering drug addict.
That's hilarious.
I never got to see this Professor X together. So it's
no,
not
that's true.
If Professor if
he was most together in first class before he even had a school.
If Patrick Stewart had done that line, it would have been a bigger deal. Because he always knew what to do.
Yep.
If that was the line in X3.
That's a great point. Yep.
No, it looks terrible, and I don't think it's going to make any money.
So there has been some talk that Kinberg is...
Oh, and Magneto's the bad guy again.
Yeah. There has been some talk that Kinberg is upset about the Fox buyout, and this is understandable, that the studio isn't behind it, and honestly, they should have just put the thing out when they were supposed to put it out, whatever cut they had. Mm-hmm. Because now Disney's going to be in a real cut their losses place, and they're gonna put this movie out and just not be behind it, and not really support it, and he's not happy about the buyout at all, and people are reading into the MCU thing. You know about this?
No.
That there's in the trailer, there's a group that's trying to take the X-Men, and they put the collars on them.
Yeah.
And it's the Mutant Containment Unit. It's the MCU, and people are reading into that. And I think that's comic book. I might be wrong.
I think
if there's a thing called that, but I don't know that we should read too far into that. That and people are saying that
he doesn't know that when he's making this movie.
Well, yeah, but people are saying that that's like a later reshoot thing
because
they reshot quite a bit later. I am hesitant to say that means anything. Mm-hmm. Besides whatever it means from the comics, but or the script, But anyway,
yeah.
I just want to tack that on because some folks
good. Be mad.
Talk about it.
You've done nothing but ruin movies for a decade.
Somebody asked me to talk about that, and I apologize for not putting your name in here. I can't remember.
It's probably because for some reason they just keep giving X-Men. They can't get any work outside of that.
So yeah, that's all the stuff I really wanted to talk about, Eric. Was there anything else you wanted to make sure we brought up?
I don't believe so.
This was from a few weeks back, but the Black Widow movie is not rated R. Shocker.
Yeah.
That turned out to not be true. I'm so surprised.
And was never going to be.
I'm gonna have a heart attack and die.
Was also part of that quote.
Yeah. Yes, it was never. Anyway. Well, folks, we are all out of time. We're not going to do letters pages this time. It is really super late, and we are ready to go to bed. So, Hope you enjoyed all the content this time, and it's time for me to go to bed. We sure appreciate your tuning in. Eric and I will be back with you in the not-too-distant future for more reviews, and we hope you have a wonderful next few weeks. I am Captain Logan.
And I'm Eric.
See you later, folks.